It generally comes down to, a few features that you use a lot. And, I think there are a couple parts to this stock market story you're telling. First of all, there are cool features, this fingerprint sensor technology, which makes it easy to do away with the old way of typing in the password. We're all pretty lazy on that front. And then, to be able to use your phone in a more secure way. I think for Apple, that might open the door to commerce, although they didn't really talk about that in a lot of detail yesterday. And then, photos, a lot of people that's one of the primary things they're doing on their phones. They have a new function called Burst. I sort of envisioned Stephanie Rule, doing a cool dance, and I'm, taking my pictures, or, going one-on-one with Mello, and then you get all these different photos that you can choose from. Whether those two features alone are enough to get people excited, I don't know. It seemed like the stock market reaction story was more about where they priced this lower-end phone, the 5C. If you were to buy it off contract in China, we're not talking about $100 or $150 or $200 or $300 or $400. We're talking $500 plus. And so some people said, well, hold on a second. I thought they were really going to go after the Chinese market. And at that pricing, we're not sure of that. So now it kind of becomes a wait-and-see story.
Well, John, there's a trade-off, obviously, between what Apple is prepared to price the phone at and maintain its margins and what it puts into the 5C in the hope of building an audience, or at least a customer base, for a slightly lower-priced product. I know you checked out that phone as well. What did you think? Bubblegum colors aside, and taste aside.
Exactly. And actually, I'm excited. Sometimes on Bloomberg West, we'll do these teardowns where you sort of see the components that go into these devices. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be doing that in the next couple of weeks, because there were some expectations that maybe to get the pricing down on the device, they might have to reduce the component prices by, upwards of 65%. The fact that they've priced it where they have would suggest maybe they didn't go that low. But to answer your question, it's a good phone. I mean, if you've got an iPhone 5, there are a lot of similarities. It's using the same display. It's using the same processor. So, I think that Apple is very savvy when it comes to the perfect pricing of its devices and knowing its customers and knowing demand, and I guess knowing Elvis Costello, too, as you saw there, who was presenting at, or, performing at this event yesterday. So, again, it falls on Apple to deliver during the holiday season the big numbers that really ultimately are the driver of the stock price, guys.
Thanks, John. Elvis Costello, Alicia Keys at BlackBerry. I don't know. I like them both, and I have both phones, so I can't pick a favorite. Thanks, John Ehrlichman, our own senior West Coast correspondent, joining us live from L.A.
And, Stephanie, let's not forget about the fingerprint scanner on the iPhone. It could usher in a whole new world of commercial applications for biometrics. Our next guest is betting on it. Bob Stewart is the Chief Product Officer at Sonavation, a biometrics company in Florida, whose technology goes beyond what Apple is doing. He's here to explain it all to us from Fort Lauderdale. So, Bob, tell us, what does your technology do that we will not see, at least on this iPhone 5S or 5C, and possibly even future iterations of the iPhone?
Well, Sonavation was founded from the grandfather of biometrics, which was cross-match technology, which really established most of the standards that are used by the FBI today. And our founder believed that fingerprints weren't good enough anymore. So we took a unique approach where we implemented ultrasound technology to look beyond just the fingerprint and actually identify the end user by looking beneath the skin. So we have a full range of forthcoming fingerprint and fingertip identity scanners that look not just at the surface, but actually look at the underlying microvasculature and the anatomy that makes up the entire fingertip, creating a much higher fidelity biometric. As many know, the fingerprint scanners today are easily spoofable in many instances.
Oh, well, let's talk about it for a moment, because you can't talk up your own product without trash talking about another. What are the liabilities or the risks, let's put it that way, in the fingerprint scanning technology that Apple is putting into its own product?
Well, certainly, the risks are that you are putting your biometric onto an edge-connected device. That biometric is being stored, and I know that they've put a lot of thought into how to do that, and they're storing that in their processor. But at the end of the day, nothing's foolproof, because fools are so darn ingenious. We do have a platform that's always on and always connected. In the case of the Apple device, it is mandatory that you put your fingerprint in order to activate the device, and then it's continuous continuously building that profile. So there is a substantial risk in the fact that your entire fingerprint biometric is being stored on this device.
Well, Bob, go bigger. How does this set the stage for biometrics to become a next platform for e-commerce?
Well, it's pretty clear. If you watch the videos that Apple put up themselves, they show it very clearly that there is an opportunity, and they demonstrate how when you making purchases on the Apple iStore, App Store, that you swipe your finger across the sensor in order to authenticate that purchase. And clearly, they have designs on disintermediating the typical credit card transaction space that's been the bellwether of consumer transactions to date. Now that you have this device that you can carry with you, and with near-field communication and other technologies that that enable that communication to happen at the point-of-sale register, it becomes a very elegant solution for consumers to be able to just swipe their finger, not to mention the fraud reduction that can take place by the credit card companies knowing that it was indeed you that made that purchase at a given point in place.
Bob, what kinds of, call it applications, what kinds of businesses are going to be enabled by the existence of fingerprint scanning technology on a consumer device like an iPhone?
That's an interesting question. What kinds of businesses? I think many different types of businesses where you need an out of bandwidth or in bandwidth authentication that it's actually you at a given point and place. Now this could be used in home health care. It could be utilized in access control for getting into and through doors at work. It can be utilized in connecting you to your car. I think that there's going to be a myriad of opportunities where more security, especially in this day and age and on this auspicious day, becomes a paramount part of our day-to-day interactions with this wireless mobile device and world that we've become accustomed to.
Well, lots of people find it scary, but it certainly sounds exciting as well. Bob, we thank you for joining us. Bob Stewart is the Chief Product Officer at Sonavation, with us from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, this morning.
And in a moment, when we come back, we're talking rebirth at Ground Zero on today, September 11th. We're going to go behind closed doors at two of the newest buildings at the site of the World Trade Center. That is coming up next, right here on Market Makers. You're watching Bloomberg Television.
You can continue to take the beaten path of investing in stocks one by one. Or you can reach for Sector Spider ETFs. They divide the entire S&P 500 into 9 distinct sectors, like financial or technology. Simply choose the sectors that best match your investment goals. Sector Spiders, you'll experience the diversification of mutual funds, the transparency of an index, and the all-day tradability of stocks. Ready to harness the power of a stock alternative? Before investing, consider the fund's investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses. Go to sectorspiders.com for a prospectus containing this information. Read it carefully. Visit us at sectorspiders.com.
I am the champion of progress. I am the agent of change. I am responsible. I am accountable. I am liable. I am the bottom line. I am the CFO.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the third quarter earnings call. Go ahead, sir.
It's time for transparency, insight, and efficiency. Visa Commercial Solutions.
What makes Ireland great? Is it this? Or is it this?